In cybersecurity, when a breach happens or systems fail, there's no script. Crisis leadership becomes everything, making clear decisions and guiding the team through the chaos. In rugby, you face those pressure cooker moments where plans fall apart and the game hinged on real-time decisions. How do you lead in those moments, and what have you learned about getting the best out of people when it matters most?
Preparation is key. Preparation is key, but things still do go wrong. And like, we're talking about rugby here, but I've worked in the equipment industry in the Middle East for a couple of years.
Right.
And my Aussie boss, really sharp guy, said to me, equipment breaks, people break equipment, people put the wrong fuel in equipment. It's how we react as a business, which sets us apart.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what you alluded to in your question, is like, how do you react in those moments? So you can prepare for everything, but still in those moments, you've got to be in a position where you can react positively and calmly. And we went through something that put us in good stead, which was scenario-based training. So you do all the physical stuff, you go in the gym, you do all the on-field kicking and passing a ball around, tactics, technical, all these things. But then in the evenings, we'd go to a boardroom setting, and as a team would break ourselves into 4 groups, and we'd write scenarios out for another table, and then we'd all come together as a boardroom sort of setting and pitch our scenarios to each other. And the scenarios would be things that wouldn't typically happen in a game. And what if the bus breaks down on the way to the game? Because rugby, guys are really regimented with their timings and the scheduling of their warm-up and their strapping and their supplementation and their hydration, all this stuff. So all of a sudden there's a spanner in the works and the buses broke down. How are we going to deal with that? And there was one running joke as I was the captain, and because of my disciplinary record, it was a running joke for a 6-week campaign. Every Thursday night, the scenario: what if Dylan gets sin bin? What if the captain gets sin bin? Who's going to throw the line out?
Yeah.
Who's going to throw the ball in the line out? Because that was my role. Who's making on-field decisions about kick to corner? Do we take 3 shots at goal? All these sorts of things. And we would answer it. This is what would happen if Dylan was sin bin. And because it was a running joke, we knew the answer. So it's a long answer to your question. But
it's a good answer.
The final game of the Six Nations, we're unbeaten. We're going out to France. We're in Paris, and they're known for a bit of skullduggery pre-game, and they just do everything to make it uncomfortable for you. The bus, our police escort, all of a sudden couldn't go down that street, and then there's fans blocking that street. So the bus was delayed by half an hour before the game. And because we talked about it for 6 weeks building up to this, every week we pitched the what if the bus is late scenario. The guys just went, the team manager stands up in front of us, guys, the bus is late, and everyone was relaxed. It was fine. It was fine. It's not a big issue. We dealt with it. And then in the game, we're sort of 50, 60 minutes into the game, 130 kilo weenie Antonio, big tight head prop for France, came around the corner with the ball. I attempted to tackle him with my head first on his knee. Ouch. And it knocked me out cold. So the other scenario we'd practice for as a running joke was, what if Dylan gets sin bin? Or if Dylan gets knocked out. And the best thing about that moment is, I've watched the game back on TV. The team aren't sort of diluted and spread out over the field. And the team come together in a circle, eyes are up, clear heads, and Owen Farrell steps forward, and we know exactly what we're doing as a team. And I think those 2 moments we're prepared for 6 weeks as a running joke almost. But that scenario came to life in the final game. We went on to win the game, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So I think scenario-based training, preparing for things, and even if they're running jokes, you've had the conversation, you know how you're going to deal with it. And the other thing about on-field decisions, you've got to get some wrong. You're going to get a lot of decisions wrong on the field, to learn from those, to walk away and go with your leadership team afterwards, if we had that moment again, what would we do? We'd do this. So you've got to get it wrong before you get it right. I suppose your world's all about mitigating that, trying to make sure it never goes wrong.
Very similar.
Yeah.
Exactly right.